Hey, y'all. Speaking to nervous system in intimate partnership, and there's a little bit of nuance here because I'm speaking from experience, both my own and working with women who are mothers, but I also feel like this is fairly universally applicable. So listen in even if you don't have kids. When we've experienced rupture in relationship, and that can start as early as birth, even prenatally. Let's try not to get too wrapped up in the story, our own individual stories. Just allow yourself to acknowledge rupture of any kind relationally, especially if it's been left unrepaired. It creates this sort of skipping the record is a metaphor that's used a lot, but you can also think of like a dirt road that's just in the middle of nowhere and the rest is fairly wild terrain. Like, you're going to get on those tracks. You're simply going to do it because that's the path of least resistance. So in terms of our trauma, we go on that path of least resistance in terms of what we recognize and how we respond and what we're anticipating. So if you've had the experience of the person you were supposed to be able to trust the most betraying you or harming you, that's what you're going to anticipate as soon as you start to trust someone. If you've had the experience that as soon as you let your guard down, something awful happens, that's what you're going to think of. That's what you're going to anticipate. That's what you're going to expect. And that's what you're going to start preparing yourself for. So we all have different responses to those, orientations toward the threat. Some of us shut down, some of us brace, and some of us just go on the attack, right? I'm going to go on the offensive first and make sure you can't hurt me. I don't think I need to explain why this is a problem. And it's not that you are the problem. It's not that you are doing something wrong. It's that it doesn't allow for you to gather any evidence to the contrary of this extraordinary pain that you've experienced. So within the framework of somatic experiencing, we are quite literally training your nervous system to notice and stay a bit longer with evidence to the contrary. I had a relaxing evening with friends and nothing bad happened. I really enjoyed this quiet moment with my daughter, and it was so pleasurable. I'm feeling connected to you now. My low back just relaxed a little bit. And usually trauma is like a big boulder, right? And all of these little pieces of evidence are smaller stones, piles of sand that eventually outweigh that huge thing. So your life can become outweighed by your capacity, your desire, your experience of goodness, of what's not wrong even, which as we're healing from big ruptures can be good enough. And ultimately, what we want to get to is a place of relative equanimity, knowing that bad things have happened and bad things will continue to happen, but we are not in control and we cannot predict. And usually that nuance, our ability to be with nuance, actually, and this is the really important part, sharpens our discernment, refines our intuition. My mom raised me with this one phrase: if it doesn't feel right, it isn't right. And having that instilled in me for a long time, I think really gave me something potent and powerful and life-changing. And still, because of certain things I experienced in relationship to her, in relationship to my brothers, in relationship to romantic partners, I still had to refine and develop my sense of trust. I'm still refining and developing it. But there is also this deeper knowing And I've spent years gathering evidence to the contrary that my body is really wise, that my instincts are often very correct. And this is such a long conversation, which is why we've got 3 months in Mother Fire to explore it. I don't have to broach a problem, or maybe, my spidey senses are going off and I'm suspicious, wary, unclear. I don't have to approach that from total flight or total fight. I can stay inside myself and be curious and ask questions to help me get the information that I need. And when you're inside your body, when you have an orientation, and my hands are on my pelvis right now, my pubic bone and my low belly, when you can literally feel, sense, you get the information that you need. This person is bullshitting me. And as we're swimming in this collective soup right now of, all of our worst fears about men being shoved in our face, all of our worst fears for our children being shoved in our face, all of our, historical, ancestral, inherited, and maybe very nearby trauma of exploitation and dominance over the wisdom of women and the healing nature of our sex and beauty. It's really fundamentally important that we do this work of refinement and steadying and cultivating discernment. I use that word a lot because it's so important. I need to be able to orient myself toward good old Mr. Rogers, the helpers. The helpers are everywhere. You're a helper. I feel that from my clients all of the time. I feel that in the communities of women that I'm a part of. I felt that in my recent somatic experiencing training. There were 2 men in my training that truly healed a deep, deep pain that I've carried in my body and my psyche about my brothers. Men that I deeply respect, men who have honored me. And they're not perfect. I hold no illusions that these are somehow perfect men who've never fucked up in their lives. And guess what? They're white. It just matters that we recognize our own tendencies toward mistrust, attack, avoidance, shutdown. I'm going to write about this soon. You'll get this article soon. But rage, which y'all know I love, and we've worked with a lot, those of you who've been around for a while, rage is actually self-destructive. Rage can be channeled in a way that is extremely effective and powerful and transformational. But unrefined rage that makes you stare at your phone for hours, rage that makes you look at a stranger or even your husband with total disdain and disgust, rage that makes you leave your body and spiral into all of the worst case scenarios, is self-destructive. It requires a channel so that there is clear focus and stabilization in the body. And that is the potency of somatic experiencing. That's nervous system repatterning. It is not, just find your calm. It is not, but all this good stuff is happening. It is focus. What is the need? What is happening? What needs to be spoken? And then creating boundaries around that so that it can be like an arrow going straight to its target. I'm so excited about this because I've felt the experience in myself. I've felt the transformation and I've seen it. And this is This is the time. This is the time for us to meet ourselves and each other in what is an undeniable welling up of deeply embedded and embodied pain, and start to churn through it, refine it, so that we can make something different. So that this isn't a pattern that is repeated and repeated and repeated. I hope this moves you. Please respond to it if it does, how it does. I've got programs coming up where we are engaging head on with this material in a way that is fortifying and restorative and connective. And I just can't wait to have you be a part of it.